Good afternoon, you're welcome and thank you for joining us on the news updates. We're coming to you live from 7 Amate Close in Nima and also streaming live on YouTube at Daily Guide Network. My name is Thomas Sath and these are the headlines. Coming up this afternoon, minority leader accuses governments of breaching constitution over flood relief funds. Also, Council of State advises Parliament against passage of dual citizenship bill. Meanwhile, police dismantle alleged drug network targeting university students with 44 suspects arrested. Also to come, 8 police officers interdicted over fatal Seri Sireno shooting. And Cocoa Board misses June deadline to clear 6 billion Ghana cedis cocoa arrears, leaves 3.4 billion Ghana cedis unpaid. We have the details of our top stories and more in business, sports, and the international front, all coming up in the next hour. Please stay. And for our very first story this hour, minority leader Alexander Afenyomarkin has accused the government of breaching Article 178 of the 1992 Constitution over the source of the 350 million Ghana cedi allocated for flood relief. Speaking on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday, he claims the contingency fund was at the time subject to a court-issued Ganashi order, making it inaccessible to the government, but the executive should have returned to Parliament to seek approval before accessing funds from an alternative source.
The spokesperson for government on his feet indicated that the government has drawn funds from the contingency account, an amount of 350 million Ghana cedis. The statement by the government communication minister, as well as the statement from the Ministry of Finance, that indeed, pursuant to the approval by the Finance Committee of the House on the 30th of June for the withdrawal of an amount of $350 million in cedis, in accordance with Article 177, Mr. Speaker, is false. Mr. Speaker, it is false because the contingency fund has suffered a Ganeshi order from the court. When they went for the withdrawal, the Attorney General himself advised the governor that that account has been injuncted. They could not withdraw from the account. Yes. Mr. Speaker, they therefore used another government account without Parliament approval. Upon what authority did government go into other accounts to withdraw money? Mr. Speaker, they have breached the Constitution using a national emergency to do that which was not authorized by Parliament.
Also, minority leader Alexander Afenyomarkin further alleged that NADMO distributed baked beans and instant noodles to flood victims in Nima and Accra Newtown instead of using flood relief funds to provide more comprehensive support.
We have been told that some funds have been released to NADMO. Only yesterday, Mr. Speaker, we saw NADMO at Nima and Accra Newtown sharing baked beans and Indomie. Baked beans. Mr. Speaker, at Nima, sharing baked beans and Indomie. When, Mr. Speaker, people have lost properties, Mr. Speaker, they need rice, they need maize, they need oil, cooking oil. Mr. Speaker, they need government to intervene to restore their businesses. Mr. Speaker, then, Mr. Speaker, we don't even know how they procure these baked beans. Mr. Speaker, people need blankets, people need mattresses.
And responding to some of these issues in Parliament by the Minority Leader, the Minister of State in charge of Government Communication, Felix Kwakye Fosu, has dismissed concerns raised by Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin over President John Mahama's flood assessment exercise. Kwakye Fosu described the Minority Leader's comments as bizarre and misguided politicking, arguing that the criticism does not reflect the government's efforts in responding to the impacts of the June 29 floods. The response follows Afenyo-Markin's criticism of the present use of a helicopter to assess flood damage while calling for more direct engagement with affected communities.
Mr. Speaker, President Mahama takes full responsibility and therefore will do what is right. But even as he has attempted to address this problem, some very bizarre narratives have emerged. Mr. Speaker, for instance, it has been suggested that because the president was on a helicopter to assess the extent of the situation, he had done something wrong. Mr. Speaker, the president did not go for a jolly ride. Mr. Speaker, the president was not in the helicopter for leisure. As president, he needed to take firm action. And the way to do it is to see the extent of the problem. Mr. Speaker, there are those who, for political reasons, suddenly believe that by merely going to one or two houses to shake hands, they had done what was right. But the responsibilities of a president are far weightier than that of an opposition leader. You see, there's no room, Mr. Speaker, there's no room for that kind of misguided politicking in this discussion. People have said it here. The Honorable Member for Efia said it. Honorable Kobi Dako said it. Mr. Speaker, the amount of rainfall that we recorded last week or so was 140 millimeters in one day, 13 hours. In the whole of 2024, only 56 millimeters of rainfall was recorded. So it is only logical that we were going to suffer a deluge. So those narratives must be expunged. There must be no room for such illogical conclusions. There must be no room for such misguided politicking.
We still stay in the House as the Council of State has advised Parliament not to pass the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendments Bill 2025, which seeks to remove constitutional restrictions preventing dual citizens from holding certain public offices. Now, Speaker of Parliament Aban Bagbin announced the Council's position after receiving its opinion on the proposed legislation commonly known as the Dual Citizenship Bill. According to the Speaker, the bill was referred to the Council of State in March this year in line with Article 291, that's 2, Clause 2 of the 1992 Constitution. He noted that although the Council had supported the proposal during the 8th Parliament, it had now advised Parliament against proceeding with it. Mr. Bagbin, however, emphasized that the Council of State's advice is not binding and Parliament retains the authority to decide whether to continue considering the bill.
Given the significance of the constitutional issues raised by the Council of State, however, and the potential implications of those issues for Parliament's exercise of its amendment powers under Chapter 25 of the Constitution, I considered it useful to guide the committee and the House with my understanding and appreciation of the constitutional questions raised by the advice. Together with the advice of the Council of State, I submit my humble guidance in writing to the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee as to what and how to deliberate on the matter as attached. This is a legal matter, and we need to tap all the legal brains to make sure we're doing the right thing. I am clear in my mind that the House is clothed with the powers to amend provisions of the Constitution. Some are allowed to pass through some processes which are referred to as entrenched clauses. But ultimately, it's Parliament that will process and pass the bill. I accordingly refer these documents together with the bill to the Committee on Constitutional and Legal Affairs for consideration and report to the House.
And away from the legislature to crime prevention and also law enforcement, the Ghana Police Service has dismantled an alleged drug distribution network suspected of producing and selling narcotic-infused products to university students in parts of the Kumasi metropolis. The intelligence-led operation conducted between July 3 and 5 by the Inspector General of Police Special Operations Team and the Ashanti Regional Police Command resulted in the arrest of 44 suspects made up of 41 males and 3 females from several communities, including Emina, Boadi, Abuabu, and Ashtown. Police say the suspects were allegedly involved in producing and distributing cannabis-infused toffees, alcoholic beverages, and other narcotic products targeted at students. Items retrieved include quantities of tramadol tablets, suspected narcotic substances, cannabis-infused drinks, locally prepared concoctions, Rizla rolling papers, and 9 casino jackpot machines believed to have been used in illegal activities. Police say the investigations are ongoing. The Western North Regional Police Command has interdicted 8 police officers following a shooting incident at Sehui Saireno in the Jaboso districts of the Western North region that claimed the lives of 2 people and left 3 others injured. In a press release issued on Tuesday, July 7, the police said the interdiction forms part of efforts to facilitate investigations into the circumstances surrounding the incident. According to the statement, preliminary investigations revealed that a confrontation broke out between a police patrol team and some members of the Saireno community on Tuesday. The statement added that the Inspector General of Police has directed the Police Professional Standards Bureau to conduct a full investigation into the incidents. The Western North Regional Police Command noted that calm has since been restored in the community and expressed appreciation to the chiefs, community leaders, and other stakeholders for their cooperation. Moving on, the Electoral Commission Staff Union has petitioned EC Chairperson Jen Mensah to suspend the ongoing recruitment of a new Director of Finance, citing concerns over transparency and due process. In a petition signed by the union's chairman, Richard Agoko, the staff accused the chairperson of unilaterally initiating the recruitment process without the approval of the commission. According to the petition, the Director of Finance position, which has been vacant for about 8 years, was advertised on June 10, 2026, with the applications closing on June 25. The union questioned the inclusion of a maximum age limit of 55 years, alleging the criterion may have been designed to favor a specific individual, Henry George Ashon, whom it claims is closely associated with the chairperson. The union further argued that the appointment of a Director of Finance, a key position responsible for the Commission's financial management, should first be deliberated and approved by the full Commission at a duly constituted meeting, in line with constitutional governance requirements. It also accused the chairperson of increasingly centralizing administrative authority, resulting in major policy and administrative decisions being taken without collective deliberation. We'll take a quick break and be back with more stories here on The Update. Please stay. Welcome back. You're still tuning into the news updates on DJ and also streaming live on YouTube at Daily Guide Network. My name is Thomas Satha. Let's do more stories. Now, in business, PricewaterhouseCoopers Ghana expects the cedi to remain broadly stable over the medium term despite recent pressure on the local currency. PwC Ghana country senior partner Vish Ashagbo said that although the cedi has experienced some depreciation in recent weeks, interventions by the Bank of Ghana to improve dollar liquidity have helped stabilize the foreign exchange markets and reinforce confidence in the currency's outlook. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of the launch of PricewaterhouseCoopers Ghana's 2026 banking survey, Vish Ashagbo noted that the central bank's recent dollar injections have eased pressure on the cedi and are expected to support exchange rate stability. His comments come after the Bank of Ghana injected $2.01 billion into the foreign exchange markets in June 2026 to meet rising demand for dollars and support the cedi. The intervention comprised $1.2 billion through the Forex Intermediation Program and an additional $811 million under the bank's FX Intervention Program. The Ghana Cocoa Board has failed to meet its self-imposed end of June deadline to clear more than 6 billion Ghana cedis owed to cocoa farmers and licensed buying companies, leaving an estimated 3.4 billion Ghana cedis still outstanding. The shortfall comes despite a firm assurance given by the board's head of public affairs, Jerome Sam, during an interview on June 15 that the arrears would be almost entirely settled before the end of the month. However, figures released by Cocoa Board after the deadline indicates that the board has not fulfilled that commitment. In a statement announcing fresh financing for cocoa purchases, Cocoa Board disclosed that it had released 2.6 billion Ghana cedis to licensed buying companies. Now, according to the board, 1.4 billion Ghana cedis has been earmarked to pay cocoa farmers who were still owed for cocoa supplied on credits in previous crop seasons, while 1.2 billion Ghana cedis will reimburse LBCs that pre-finance cocoa purchases from farmers. Now, before this latest disbursement, Cocoa Board had acknowledged arrears exceeding 6 billion Ghana cedis owed to farmers and LBCs. Based on the board's own figures, the 2.6 billion Ghana cedis release represents about 43% of the outstanding obligations, leaving approximately 3.4 billion Ghana cedis, or 57% yet to be paid. The latest payment means Cocoa Board has reduced its arrears but has not achieved the near-complete settlements it publicly promised. And we talk about football now because Egypt's FIFA World Cup journey came to a heartbreaking end after surrendering a 2-goal lead to lose 3-2 to defending champions Argentina in a thrilling round of 16 clash in Atlanta. The Pharaohs stand the favorites when Yasser Ibrahim headed home after 15 minutes before goalkeeper Mustafa Shoubert saved a Lionel Messi penalty to preserve Egypt's lead. Egypt doubled its advantage in the second half through Mustafa Ziko after an earlier effort had been ruled out by VAR. However, Argentina mounted a remarkable late comeback, scoring 3 goals in the final 13 minutes. The defending champions completed the turnaround in stoppage time when Enzo Fernandez netted the winner, sealing a dramatic victory and ending Egypt's impressive World Cup campaign. And what's a perfect remontada? Well, merci beaucoup. Merci. Now, moving on to other stories. Still in sports, the National Sports Authority says the true condition of the Accra Sports Stadium will soon be revealed after a team of technical experts completes an assessment of the facility. Director General of the NSA, Yao Ampofo Ankra, said the inspection conducted 2 weeks ago will guide decisions on the upgrades needed to bring the stadium up to the required standard. With Ghana preparing to host the 2027 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations, he noted that the renovation and improvement of sports facilities, including the Accra Sports Stadium, have become a priority. And away from sports to the far front, on the continent, South Sudan's worsening conflicts is placing enormous pressure on the country's healthcare system, with the International Committee of the Red Cross reporting a 50% rise in medical evacuations during the first half of 2026. Now, fighting between forces loyal to President Salva Kiir and opposition groups aligned with rival Riek Machar has left thousands of civilians cut off from essential health care, forcing critically injured patients to be flown to Juba Military Hospital for emergency treatment. The Red Cross says the growing violence combined with shrinking humanitarian funding has reduced healthcare services across the country and placed increasing strain on referral hospitals. Medical teams are now responding to mass casualty incidents, with specialist nurses triaging the most critically wounded before evacuating them by air, while others wait for transport as resources remain stretched. Now, the organization says surgeries at Juba Military Hospital have risen sharply this year as attacks have forced several lead-run hospitals to close, leaving hundreds of thousands of displaced people with limited access to life-saving care. South Sudan gained independence in 2011, but civil war soon erupted between rival factions. Although a 2018 peace agreement reduced the fighting, the latest resurgence of violence is threatening to unravel those fragile gains and deepen one of Africa's most severe humanitarian crises. And then finally, a liquefied natural gas tanker caught fire after being struck by a projectile in the Strait of Hormuz, escalating tensions in one of the world's most critical shipping lanes. The attack comes as Iran mourns Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and nuclear talks with the United States remain stalled. A liquefied natural gas tanker caught fire early Tuesday after being struck by a projectile while transiting the Strait of Hormuz off the coast of Oman, according to the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations. The vessel was reportedly hit on its port side near Lima as it headed south toward the Gulf of Oman. Authorities said there was no environmental damage from the incident, while investigations into the attack are ongoing. Iranian state television reported that the tanker had ignored official navigation warnings but stopped short of formally claiming responsibility for the strike. And I'm all for this afternoon's updates. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll be back at 6:30 p.m. with the latest reports. Do follow up on our website at www.dailyguidenetwork.com for more updates. This update is brought to you by Teleso Ghana and also powered by Press Express. My name is Thomas Satha. Have a good afternoon.